Third time's a charm. We're right. We're ready.
We're ready now.
Alex, the real estate dude here, on another episode of Working Alaska. It's episode number 8, where we're building context around the entrepreneurs and business owners in Alaska. Today, we have the Friendliest or Friendliest, depending on which article you read. You told me not to bring it up.
Yeah,
First thing. Jamie Brough with Pillar to Post Home Inspections, and Janice Brough, hopefully she'll watch this in spirit, because she's an integral part of this team as well. Look, there she is.
She's out.
Hi, Janice.
Hey, Janice.
All right. So, you ready to jump into it? We're going to start right away.
Yeah, let's do it.
Recording, we're good.
All right.
Okay, so we always start these with building context around you and your story. So I want to get right into your story.
All right.
So where were you from? Where did you go to high school? Where is that very beginning portion of your life happen?
Beginning, I guess you mean birth, not where I started to live. So we'll start with birth.
Oh, that's deep already. I like it.
Born and raised in the state of Connecticut.
Okay.
I don't claim it for many reasons. We won't get into that. This isn't that long. So
okay, go Red Sox.
Go Red Sox. Go Patriots. I don't know what he's doing over here.
I wore this on purpose, by the way.
Go Bruins. We got this. Stanley Cup's coming back to Boston soon. So here we go.
No doubt. You guys are destroying the Blues.
Right on. So born and raised in the state of Connecticut. Lived there until I was 23. Then I joined the Air Force.
So hold on. We're going to stop you already. Born in Connecticut, and you lived there till you were 23, and you still don't claim it.
Right.
Even though that's where your big portion of life, all of your growth. Maybe not all your growth.
Not
like
anymore. I've passed that halfway point. So
okay.
I've lived in other places longer than I did in Connecticut.
Why not Connecticut?
Why not Connecticut?
What do you have against Connecticut? Quick list.
Quick list. Taxes are too high.
Okay.
Way too high.
Okay.
Not even a little bit too high. Way too high.
Okay.
Too congested.
I mean, you're in the Northeast. Like, I just assume all of that stuff. I've never even been there, but all of that stuff. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, New York, Boston.
Yeah.
All of Connecticut is just like...
They're all overcrowded.
People.
Everybody's walking all over each other, and everybody's pushing each other down to get to the next thing. People don't really... there's less caring about each other in that place when I lived there. So
that makes more sense.
It's nothing personal. It's just not my suit.
Okay. So, left Connecticut at 23, but why you were... You're going to be ready. Third time's a charm. We're right. We're ready.
We're ready now.
Alex, the real estate dude here, on another episode of Working Alaska. It's episode number 8, where we're building context around the entrepreneurs and business owners in Alaska. Today, we have the Friendliest or Friendliest, depending on which article you read. You told me not to bring it up.
Yeah,
First thing. Jamie Brough with Pillar to Post Home Inspections, and Janice Brough, hopefully she'll watch this in spirit, because she's an integral part of this team as well. Look, there she is.
She's out.
Hi, Janice.
Hey, Janice.
All right. So, you ready to jump into it? We're going to start right away.
Yeah, let's do it.
Recording, we're good.
All right.
Okay, so we always start these with building context around you and your story. So I want to get right into your story.
All right.
So where were you from? Where did you go to high school? Where is that very beginning portion of your life happen?
Beginning, I guess you mean birth, not where I started to live. So we'll start with birth.
Oh, that's deep already. I like it.
Born and raised in the state of Connecticut.
Okay.
I don't claim it for many reasons. We won't get into that. This isn't that long. So
okay, go Red Sox.
Go Red Sox. Go Patriots. I don't know what he's doing over here.
I wore this on purpose, by the way.
Go Bruins. We got this. Stanley Cup's coming back to Boston soon. So here we go.
No doubt. You guys are destroying the Blues.
Right on. So born and raised in the state of Connecticut. Lived there until I was 23. Then I joined the Air Force.
So hold on. We're going to stop you already. Born in Connecticut, and you lived there till you were 23, and you still don't claim it.
Right.
Even though that's where your big portion of life, all of your growth. Maybe not all your growth.
Not
like
anymore. I've passed that halfway point. So
okay.
I've lived in other places longer than I did in Connecticut.
Why not Connecticut?
Why not Connecticut?
What do you have against Connecticut? Quick list.
Quick list. Taxes are too high.
Okay.
Way too high.
Okay.
Not even a little bit too high. Way too high.
Okay.
Too congested.
I mean, you're in the Northeast. Like, I just assume all of that stuff. I've never even been there, but all of that stuff. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, New York, Boston.
Yeah.
All of Connecticut is just like...
They're all overcrowded.
People.
Everybody's walking all over each other, and everybody's pushing each other down to get to the next thing. People don't really... there's less caring about each other in that place when I left there. So
that makes more sense.
It's nothing personal. It's just not my suit.
Okay. So left Connecticut at 23. But while you were I always hit this part. You were in high school. How were you in high school? Were you a AB student, CD student, super entrepreneurial? Did you class all the time?
Before high school, AB student. In high school, CD student. Okay. Almost didn't graduate. Thanks for pushing me, Mom. I wasn't into sports or anything in the high school level. Before the high school level, I was into baseball. I played baseball a lot. I enjoyed that very much. But I wasn't good enough when I got to the high school level. I quickly realized I just wasn't good enough to compete with the guys that were there. That's just how it was. Okay. Which is fine. But I was the guy that nobody had a bad thing to say about me, even in high school. Okay. Right? Okay. Friendliest guy in the valley, 2019.
I feel like this is going to be a theme through your story.
Well, it's a theme of my life, is what it is. It's just treating people the way you want to be treated is all it is. Okay. So, and I've been that way since I was very young.
So you were not super entrepreneurial in high school?
No.
You weren't selling candies? You weren't thinking about starting a business? You wouldn't? Was the next step logically to join the Air Force after high school, or what's that gap from 18 to 23?
Gap from 18 to 23 was kind of broke out of my shell, kind of started getting into a lot of trouble.
Okay, broke out of your shell as in you were shy, and now you're starting to love on people more?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Very shy in my early ages, very, very shy. Okay. Late high school and out of high school, I started getting into rebuilding and restoring old cars, building race cars, going to quarter-mile racetracks, drag style racing, not circle track racing. Okay. Get dizzy in circles, so I just go straight.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, right.
If you're not, there's a problem here.
Yeah, it's supposed to be going straight. Okay. But yeah, I started getting into a lot of trouble and a little too much partying, and which was all fun and part of who I am now, but that kind of led to the military. Like, I was getting to a point in my life where I'm like, okay, it's time to grow up and start doing something, and what's the best way to do that? I have a very long list of people in my family that were military. Okay. My grandfather, my father, my uncles, and decided that's what I want to do. And after talking to them, they had all been in the Army, the Navy, the Marines. Nobody had done the Air Force, so...
Well, yeah, because you said you wanted to join the military.
Yeah.
So
it's true, but I also wanted to eat well. So
right, and not suck. Which in the Air Force, it's like, here, we'll make your bed for you.
Yes.
That's great. Right?
Well, they didn't always make my
here's
bed
Wi-Fi.
If I left a little money on the pillow, they'd make my bed for me. So.
So it sounds like, in high school you started to go downhill. I don't want to say downhill because that makes it sound like a bad thing, where I'm sure a lot of growth happened in there.
Yeah.
But you started to go on a different track starting in high school, and then that was just a track that continued until you were about 23.
Yeah.
And then once you were 23, it was like I need to figure something out.
Yeah,
right? Like I need
literally was almost a light bulb. This is not the way you're going to live the rest of your life. It's true what they say about people with race cars and stuff like that. You go to work to put money into your race car. Yeah. And then party after the races. So you don't get too far. It's a vicious circle.
It's a cycle there.
There's the circle comes back. There you go. But yeah, it's I always wanted a family. Okay. And that was something, even when I was young, I knew I wanted a family and stuff like that. So that kind of life and the way that I was approaching it was not going to be sustainable for many years.
So when you decided to join the Air Force, was there an outside influence? Was it just because your family had done it? Was it because you realized you needed the discipline just to shake yourself up? What was the reason?
Definitely the discipline. Okay. That's what I was after. I was after the discipline. It didn't really matter to me whether it was Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines, whatever. It didn't really matter for me. I needed the discipline, and I wanted to serve my country also. Okay. So that wasn't something that was part of me in my younger years by any means. It was as I started to grow and mature. I knew that was something I wanted to do. I also knew that at some point I'd want to go to school. And of course, being in the military, that helps with a large cost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cost associated with education. So
you put the work in, and you also want to feed off those benefits. So it's not unnoble to say like I wanted those benefits too, man.
Benefits. It's okay.
Like I want a family, and so to provide good for my family and serve my country, it's like win-win-win.
Yeah.
I'm gonna age you real quick here.
Never used my education benefits, by the way. It's a terrible thing.
But you still got them.
But I'm okay right now.
When did you join the military? What year?
1995.
Okay, I was 2 years old when you joined the military.
Yeah, I'm surprised you were born.
And then how long did you stay in?
4 years.
Okay.
I went in April 15th in 95, got out in April 15th, 1999.
Okay. And so did you see any of the Desert Storm action or anything like that?
So I did 2 short tours to Kuwait and 1 short tour to Saudi Arabia, but everything was pretty mellow at that time.
Okay.
We'd already liberated Kuwait and all that stuff. And,
okay.
Going there a couple of times was... I've got a lot of pictures. Sometimes we should sit down and look through those. But the devastation of the base, a lot of it being from us as we were trying to take Kuwait back. Some pretty ugly things. But you know, when I was there, it was fairly quiet. You know, you had the occasional. At that time, it was when they brought the Patriot missiles in, and occasionally a Scud would get fired over, and you know, you get woken up in the middle of the night and get to the bunkers.
Right.
And
so even though there wasn't a lot of activity, that's not to say like stuff like that doesn't rebuild overnight. So you still see, like, even though you're not experienced the actual fighting in action, like you still see the aftermath of it.
Absolutely.
So do you think that has affected the way you treat people and stuff like that to this day, or? Maybe,
but you know, even in my early years when things were rough for me and I wasn't really on a great track, I still always tried to treat people the way I wanted to be treated.
Okay.
Some of that, I think, reinstilled that for me as a young adult, as I was moving into adulthood. But I don't think it came from that. I think that just kind of reiterated everything for me and reassured me that that's how I wanted to live my life. So.
Right, makes sense. Okay, and then what'd you do in the Air Force?
I was an ammo troop. So I built and programmed air-to-air and air-to-ground missiles.
Okay.
Or other people say I counted fake bombs in North Carolina. Depends on what you look at. So.
That's awesome.
Or, since I was Air Force, I would take guys like you and bring them up in an airplane and kick them out and let them fall down. So.
By guys like me, you mean Army guys?
I mean Army guys. Yeah. Well, I was stationed at Pope Air Force Base, which is right in the center of Fort Bragg, home of the 82nd Airborne. So that supporting the 82nd Airborne was our primary mission. So that's what we did. And take them up in a good airplane and throw them out.
The 82nd Airborne that's all they do. That is all they talk about. That is the way they live their life. It's like, in that unit, they just want to mess up your knees. So you're either jumping out of airplanes or running.
Right.
All the time.
But they're damn good at it.
My dad was an airborne infantry, EIB, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so he'll see this and he'll be like, "You dirty, nasty leg." We heard it. I'll make sure he watches this. It's all good. So you did 4 years in the Air Force, did 2 tours, and then you were stationed in North Carolina the whole time?
Yeah. My permanent duty station was Pope Air Force Base, North Carolina. Yep.
Okay. So you joined the Air Force for pretty noble reasons, like you need it in your life. Why did you only do 4 years? Why did you end it so quickly?
There's no straightforward answer to that.
Okay.
I toyed with the idea for a very short time of re-enlisting and staying in. It just didn't seem to be something that I was going to want to do for the next 20 years.
So was there an opportunity after it that you wanted to seek out, like maybe schooling or something like that? Or was it just you didn't want to do the full 20?
I was pretty sure. So, okay, I didn't go until I was 23, which is old by normal enlistment standard. Most people go in there 18 or 19.
Right.
So when I went in, I was 23. I was actually, even though I was probably the most immature person there, I was the most mature person there.
Right.
Which sounds weird, but...
Right. Well, I think in the military, one of the things you learn very quickly is there's the 18 and 19 that are super immature, but age does not determine maturity. Like not even
not there. Not there. It just didn't seem like something I wanted to do. It definitely wasn't something when it was presented to me and talked about. Do you want to re-enlist and work your way towards retirement and a full career in the military? Now. It just didn't seem to fit my needs. It's not what I wanted to do. at that point, I was getting into a mode in my head where I wanted to own my own business. I wanted to be a business owner. I didn't know what. I had no idea what I was going to do. Mm-hmm. But I knew I wanted to be a business owner. I knew I would be a good business owner.
It makes perfect sense that you're feeling this at this point. Just listening to your story from the outside looking in, mm-hmm. where you're starting to get the confidence, right? Yep. Then you get the discipline of the military. Like now you're a pretty confident person that knows you actually have to work to get the business owner and stuff like that going. So it makes perfect sense that you're starting to feel that way.
Yeah.
And so was that the next move? Was it like, okay, own a business? I don't know what yet. I'm just going to own something. Or what came after?
For whatever reason, when I got out of the military in 99, I decided, hey, let's go back to Connecticut. Even though I didn't like Connecticut.
I don't claim it. I hate it. It's overcrowded and I'm going back.
It's not my kind of life. I'm not living there. I'm going back right now. So I went back to Connecticut, met a girl, got married, mm-hmm. took a job. A job. Did not open a business, took a job.
Was it a good job, a bad job?
It was a good job.
Want to talk about what's the job?
Yeah, I took a job with, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but I became a third shift production manager in a juice facility. That's right, juice. Like the largest juice manufacturing company on the East Coast.
Like juice it, bro.
So we made juice for Tropicana, Welch's, Walla.
I tied the car thing together, so I was like, he's making Nas.
He's making Nas, baby. So, and that, honestly, it was a really good job. Uh-huh. It was a really good paying job. And my life at that point, I felt was going in the direction that I wanted it to go.
Uh-huh. Well, you said from an early on you wanted the family life.
Yes.
So at that point you had a girlfriend or wife.
I got married,
and
yep.
You had a good job, mm-hmm. right? You're starting to build that American dream,
right.
which I've found most of the time isn't the actual dream most people want. But you're starting to build what you think you've always wanted.
I think I wanted,
right.
She had a son, so I was instantly a dad.
Okay.
Whom I still talk to. He's a great kid. Lives in Maryland. He just had his first kid. So,
all right.
Congratulations to Corey and Tori. Love you guys.
Corey and Tori.
Yeah.
That sounds like
That's
a Hollywood name.
And his wife's name.
What's the kid's name? Maury?
I don't know. Is that bad? What? How can you ask me that? I'm live, dude.
Called you out. You better make a phone call after this, man.
It was just last week, but I don't get to talk to them enough.
Okay.
But I know she had the baby, so I know everybody's good and everybody's healthy. So
you jump in, you start making juice, not Nas, actual juice
not
like Tropicana. We're making orange juice,
right?
Okay. Then what happened? You quit that job. Things started getting rocky here.
We stayed together for 99.
That's the
just
old
short
man
of
love.
10 years.
Let me count the years. There's a lot of them back there.
I think we were together for about 8.5 years before we realized that we weren't on the same game plan for life.
Okay.
We just weren't.
What's up? That's fine. Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that. We just weren't. We didn't have the same life goals or where we wanted to go in life.
Okay.
So we ended up getting divorced.
Okay. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing all the time.
No, and
like people change.
As far as divorces go, it was pretty calm. It was pretty mellow. So here, you take this, I'll take that, whatever.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right. But you think about it. You guys were together for 10 years. You got with her somewhere around 23, 24. Or no?
No, 27.
Even still, any 10-year span, no matter, you pick two random ages, 22 to 32.
Right.
37 to 47.
Yep.
You are not the same person.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So, not always necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
Right?
Not always a bad thing.
Uh-huh.
And we never had kids together, so that wasn't really an issue there. So.
And we're not going to fast forward yet, but you have Janice now, so
that's
I know something good happened out
That's
there,
right. Absolutely
right?
good. We'll get there.
I
see you, baby.
Okay. So things got rocky for that whole 10 years. Were you working juice?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Just about that whole 10 years.
Okay. Things got rocky.
We got divorced.
Then what?
And then after the divorce was final, I quit my job. And then so we kind of missed the spot when when we were talking about my military life. But
Okay, go ahead. Go back.
I have a son from when I was in the military.
Okay. Now I'm married into son.
Not married into a real son.
Okay.
He went to live with his mom in Kansas City.
Okay.
So after my divorce was final, I quit my job, packed up everything that I owned, and I drove to Kansas. I wanted to go be with my son.
That is an adult decision.
That's an adult decision.
Like, I want to be a good damn dad, so I'm coming.
I don't know about good, but I definitely wanted to be there. That was for sure. So I wanted to be a good dad, but I definitely wanted to be there.
Right.
Kansas City's a tough place. Kansas City, Kansas is a tough place.
As
Especially when I went there.
Work? Or as far as culture?
I could not find work, man.
Okay.
I stayed there for 7 or 8 months and burned up every penny of savings I had trying to find work and spend time with him, and it just didn't work out.
Okay.
So I went back to Connecticut, and that's where I started getting into real estate. That is the point in my life where I began to look into real estate and fell in love with real estate overall.
Okay.
So I had a friend that worked at I actually got my real estate license in the state of Connecticut. And I did that for a year and a half. I don't know how you guys do that. It's ridiculous.
It's definitely not for everybody.
No, it's not.
What drove you to real estate? Was it you had that entrepreneurial need, you wanted a business, and so it was that? Was it the people aspect? What kind of brought you there?
No, it's like half the people around here who get into real estate and become a real estate agent. I just wanted to go show people pretty houses and collect a check. I thought that's how it worked.
Yeah,
Isn't that how that works?
That's how we do.
I mean, you just go to the closing and pick up a check.
I
right?
wish it was that.
So did I back then. That is not the case. So I tried my hat at that, and it just get pulled in too many different directions. Of course, I had to have a job while I was getting started doing that because you're not getting any money.
Right, at least 60 days, even if you find someone to write a contract today. Now we're 2 months until you get paid. Right,
at least. But I just got pulled in too many different directions. So I ended up taking a job. I ended up stopped doing that, quit my other job, and took a job with a friend of mine at a mortgage brokerage.
Okay.
And I really, really enjoyed that.
Okay.
I enjoyed the numbers. I enjoyed the process, which sounds ridiculous. I'm sure everybody has seen their mortgage paperwork. Yeah, I used to put all that stuff
Time for
together.
closing.
Bang. Well, we brought 2 pens. I did that for a long time. I really, really enjoyed it. And I got out of that, not because I didn't like it, but because of the military and my next move. So
tell me about that.
About that time, Facebook started to become a big deal. And some folks that I was in the military with found me on Facebook, and they wanted to have like a little reunion for our ammo troops, the core group of us that were together in North Carolina. Yep. And we had a friend who had a couple of acres and a cabin in West Virginia where we could all stay and kind of camp. So we all met there. I went down there, and man, did I fall in love with West Virginia. West Virginia is a beautiful place. Beautiful people for the most part. Every place has their people, but a beautiful, beautiful state. So I went down for that. It was a Memorial Day weekend, actually. Okay. And then I went back home, and then I would talk to them again. And then my buddy who lived in West Virginia invited me down again, so I went down. And
I feel like you're going to move to West Virginia.
Stay for the weekend.
I just keep going more and more and more, and now I'm living here.
And then it turns out this buddy that lives in West Virginia that I was in the military with ended up having a cousin that he wanted me to meet. And so that was Janice. I don't know if she's still on there, but that's where I met Janice.
And it's a love story. You guys got a love story.
Right? So they introduced us, and she's like, hey, and I'm like, hey. And then, she left and went on the date that she was going on to that night.
You went and rescued her from the date, didn't you?
No.
Tell me Romeo and Juliet, something. Make it
back
up. I want to hear it. No.
Came back a couple weeks later. We ended up meeting at a party and talking, and she ended up contacting me when I was in Connecticut because I was talking about maybe leaving Connecticut and possibly moving to West Virginia, and she started asking me questions about what kind of job I would be looking for. She would try to help me out and keep her eyes open and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And it honestly just grew from there. She's an amazing person. She's definitely, people say all the time, oh, it's my better half. No, she is 100% better half of the relationship. Without her, there's not really a me. So
right.
we work together very well. And people ask me what's different about this marriage versus my first marriage, and I always tell them it's the fact that I'm with somebody now that would never ask me to be something that I'm not. She loves me the way I am, and I love her the way she is, and we just support each other. So works out good.
Yeah, which is hard to find, but once you find it, something you obviously
you better hang on to it.
Yeah. So it wasn't love at first sight necessarily, right? But it's definitely something that sounds like grew pretty quickly. Like once you guys started to form a relationship, it was like pretty quickly you knew, like, wow, this one's a good one.
Well, we met in June. I didn't meet her when I was down for Memorial Day. I think I met her in June.
Okay.
And I moved in with her December 15th that same year. So
6 months?
Just shy of 6 months later, I left Connecticut and moved in with her down in West Virginia.
So if it's like, I lived in Palmer and she lived in Wasilla, 6 months is like, man, okay. Like, I lived in Connecticut and she lived in West Virginia. 6 months later, I'm moving.
Threw everything I could fit in the back of a pickup truck and see you later.
Okay, so at this point, you're really growing in that relationship pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You're living with her. What did you do for work in West Virginia? What does that time look like?
I took a job in a warehouse for a company called UTI, which is a subcontractor for DuPont Industries, who has a lot of big plants down there in the West Virginia, Ohio area. That was kind of a temporary job. When I first got there, I needed work, so I took a job.
Okay.
And then I ended up taking West Virginia is kind of a whirlwind. I took a job with an eyeglass company, a tiny little eyeglass company, making eyeglasses. Okay. And so it sounds like you were kind of like job to job, or were you like trying to work towards that owning the business that you're still like striving to get to, or owning the business kind of thing? Took a back seat.
Okay.
It was I need to work.
Okay. Money now.
Yeah, I need to work. I need to work right now. I got bills that pile up. I've been through the divorce and got things that need to be taken care of. And of course, my son was living with his mom, so child support and trying to help with all that stuff.
You had savings, and that had gone away trying to make it in Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
So it was, I need money now.
Yeah,
no time to try to build anything. Okay. Okay.
So I kind of went from job to job in West Virginia, trying to make a little bit more money, make a little bit more money, make a little bit more money. So worked at UTI, then I went and worked at an eyeglass plant, and then I went and took a job at a company called R.E. Michael, which is a heating and air conditioning wholesaler. Okay. Which is where I learned a lot about furnaces and air conditioners. That applies up here, but furnaces do. That was a great job. That was a job that I kept the rest of the time that we lived in West Virginia.
Okay, so that really then is your stepping stone, where it's like you put everything back together, right? You caught up, you might have got a little ahead, your relationship's building with Janice at this point.
You bet.
Like everything is starting to come together as you're working with this furnace company. Right. So then, now you're in Alaska? There's a big gap here. Fill the gap for me.
I'm going to leave a small gap out because the small gap of information is not for everybody. Okay. You don't need to know that. Okay. What happened was Janice and I had always had conversations about how she had been married and went through a bad divorce, and I had been married and been through a divorce, and we were both like, never getting married again. Marriage isn't what it used to be. Well, we decided to get married.
Things changed, right?
We actually came on vacation to come visit our friends that had moved up here, and I proposed to Janice in front of the bears at the Alaska Zoo. Okay.
The polar bears?
No, the grizzly bears. Okay. At the zoo in Anchorage. Yep. That was on vacation, and when we decided to get married, we got married. We had a life-changing event just before our wedding. Okay. Somehow we managed, with the help of all of our friends and our family, to push through our wedding. And and we went on our honeymoon, which we had rented a cabin up in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Okay.
For our honeymoon.
Yep.
And we were sitting in the hot tub at the cabin, and we were having a conversation about life and
Okay.
what we wanted to do in our lives. What's on our bucket list? What are the things you want to do? Because there's no such thing as the right time to do something. There's no such thing as I'll wait until I get this settled and then I'll pursue this.
If you wait till you're ready, you're never going to be ready.
You'll never be ready.
Yep.
You just need to do it. Just get up and do it. There's no good time. There's no right time. There's none of that stuff. If there's things you want to do, figure out a way to do it. Just do it. It'll work itself out. And one of the things I wanted to do was try living here in Alaska. And we have been here on vacation, like I said. And Janice said, "Well, I'll give you 3 to 5 years. If I hate it, we have to move someplace warm because she hates the cold. We have to move someplace warm." And I thought that was a fair trade-off.
Absolutely,
you know?
Yeah. She took a bite there. She was
she
like,
really
"Man,
did.
I'll risk it for you. I'm gonna trust you on this."
And this is a girl who grew up in small town West Virginia her entire life. First 42 years of her life, growing up in tiny Williamstown, West Virginia, population of 2,300 people.
Okay. Small town.
Small town. You know, everything's about football on Friday nights down there. Seriously.
Perfect. I'm about that.
And it's a great place. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But you know, we came up here, and I had been looking into military or veteran-friendly franchises.
Okay.
And just Google searching and playing around and that kind of thing. And
so before you get into that, it sounds like this conversation at the hot tub was really it was the perfect turning point. Like your time with the furnace company was a great stepping stone. Now you went through a life-changing event. You got married. Now you're in a hot tub and you guys are ready to take the next step.
Yep.
And it sounds like you guys talked more than just like, I want to move to Alaska. Like you were talking about like actual life, like what's going to make us happier and what do we need to do to get to those things.
Yes.
Man, I have been screaming from the rooftops, and I don't know how to tell people more and more that I wish they would just like make decisions based on happiness, because everything else will fall into place.
Everything else will work itself out.
If nothing else, if you do something you're happy doing, you're going to put more hours into it because you don't mind doing it, and it's going to be successful that way.
Yes.
Right? The happiness is the key, not the monetary or the money behind it.
The money will come.
So you guys are in the hot tub, you're moving to Alaska, and you guys also talked about like, I've always wanted to own a business.
We talked a little bit about that, but that wasn't really the main focus at that point. We talked about what kinds of jobs we would like to have, or you know, if you could own a business, what would you do with your spare time? Which that was funny back then when you thought when we owned a business we would have spare time. That's funny. Maybe in a couple more years when we grow a little bit more.
But, a couple 10, 50 years.
Yeah, but you know, it's the not being like everybody hates waking up on Monday. And they wake up on Monday and like, oh, it's another Monday. Man. I wake up and I don't care what day it is.
Right?
I don't care. I don't care if it's Monday. I don't care if it's Wednesday. I don't care if it's Sunday. I don't care. I woke up on my own. Nobody had to help me get out of bed. I'm good.
Yep.
What's next?
Yep.
But this video is getting a little philosophical. I hope people are still following.
No, we're good. We're going to keep it rolling. It's deep.
There weren't specific conversations about opening a business until we got here. When we got here, things kind of changed.
Okay.
So when we left West Virginia, we sold everything in our house or gave it away.
Okay.
We didn't bring a trailer with us. We bought a topper for the back of our truck. If it fit in the back of the truck, it came with us.
Yep.
If it didn't, it stayed behind.
That's such an Alaskan story.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how
no
many
trailer,
people, right?
No nothing.
Restart. Like
we will figure it out.
Alaska's going to change us.
We will figure it out.
Awesome.
Now, thankfully, we had wonderful friends up here, Justin and Sarah. They're amazing friends of ours, and they had a home, and they had a finished basement with a spare bedroom. So when we moved up, we had a place to stay. We didn't have to live in our truck. But
so you got up here, started staying in their basement.
Yep.
How long have you been here?
We got here in May of 2015, 4 years.
And when did you start Pillar to Post?
August of 2017.
So you were.
That's when we opened our doors. We started the process in April of 2017.
So really about a year, somewhere between a year and a half and
About
2
a year
years
and a half,
is how long it took for you to get here, set roots, and
Get going.
time to go.
Yep.
Okay.
Not too shabby.
Yeah,
Not too bad.
no, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Are you serious? 2 years, like in the scope of things, people are living 100 years now.
Yep.
2 years is like a drop in the
Nothing.
bucket, right? That is extremely quick, and you're still like extremely young. Like you still have so much time to do and build and whatever you want. Even if you decide pillar to post isn't it, you want to do something, or don't die on me. Okay, so let's jump into. I don't know what that said. I hope it doesn't die. If not, we have that. So
I didn't say anything about a battery, so.
Yeah, that's what that ding.
Oh,
it's like, you better gonna die, son. You better be quick.
All right.
Even if it dies, though, we have this, so no
Got that
worries.
one. All right.
So now you're at. You said Pillar to Post. You chose it because it was a veteran-friendly organization, and you put in there, kind of just threw it in there. You got into real estate and realized you loved it.
Right.
And so it seems like it was an easy decision, right? You love real estate,
Actually,
veteran-friendly.
Right.
Here you go.
So I was playing around doing a Google search, veteran-friendly franchises. Pillar to Post came up in the top 5 for the past 9 years.
Okay. Oh, amazing.
Ridiculous. They've been around since 1994, by the way. Pillar to Post itself is not a new company.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to, so we decided, Janice and I had been talking about it. And then, of course, I still had that in the back of my mind where Janice had said, I'll give you 3 to 5 years.
Yep.
So about a year after we were here, we were sitting down having dinner together, and we were talking about how much we love it here, and the people and the scenery is just amazing. And every day we wake up amazed. And she said, you know that business you've been talking about starting, the inspection business? I said, yeah. She goes, I love it here. I don't think I want to go anywhere else. I think we should get moving on that.
Stamp of approval.
Stamp of approval came through.
Yep.
And we jumped on it. And we really didn't hesitate very long after we made that decision to go ahead with it. We decided, and I think we processed all the paperwork in February of 2017. I left in April to go to training at their facilities. Came back in May, scheduled the national exam, took the test, failed it, scheduled it again, took the test, failed it, scheduled it again, took the test, passed.
Okay.
Very difficult test.
Yeah.
It's the national exam for home inspectors. So.
And the key to that, right? A lot of these tests are real estate, title, insurance, home inspection. They're all difficult tests. The key is don't quit.
Don't quit.
Right?
Keep going.
Right? How many times are you going to take it before you pass?
Right.
As many times as I need to.
Whatever it
right?
takes.
Like at this point, I'm not committed.
Back to reading books. I don't know. Read the book again. Do it again. Just keep going.
Okay.
So passed the test, got my licensing done, and we opened our doors August 31st of 2017.
Okay.
So we haven't even been open 2 years yet.
Okay.
But we are, so last 2018 is our first full calendar year in business. So this is we're in our second full calendar year of business. And at this point right now, we're just starting June. We're very close to doing the same number of inspections right now as we did total last year.
Wow.
So we're on pace to double our business this year, which is what our goal was for this year. So
that is amazing.
Yeah.
And
it really is.
It definitely takes a lot of work too. That's not from lack of effort or not from lack of hours.
No.
Right. Like I've seen you driving down to what's the furthest you've gone? Like all the way down to Kenai?
Nanilchik is the farthest we've gone.
Okay.
To do home inspections.
So whatever it takes really at this point, or at least last year, whatever it takes to get business.
Same thing this year.
Right.
We're doing the same thing this year.
Okay.
We're not doing anything different.
Okay.
Keep pounding the pavement, get in front of as many people who will let you get in front of them. Going visiting people. I'm not going to get into a lot of my secrets of how I met a lot of people, because there's a lot of people that are trying to copy me right now. So I'm not going to get into that.
Perfect. That's what I'm going to ask you about. So just in general, you don't have to tell me your secrets, but in 2018, how did you get those customers? Like, how did you develop that growth? Was it all, in general, was it like you're on social media? Was it you're sending out mailers? Was it...
Okay. The bulk of our business is coming from social media.
Okay.
Combined with professional networking organizations.
Okay.
Casual networking organizations. doing sponsorships for causes in our community that are meaningful to us, that have an impact on people, and building relationships. We are 100% about building relationships. We I was thinking about this earlier, but when we launched our business, we decided we wanted to be a household name. Being a household name was very important for us. Most people ask your friend who did their home inspection. Unless it was me, most of them are not going to remember who it was. Some might, a few might, but the vast majority won't remember who it was.
Right.
I had the same experiences. When I've owned 4 or 5 different houses now in my life, and I couldn't tell you who did the home inspections on any of those houses. I have no idea. So we wanted to make an impact. We wanted to build meaningful relationships. We wanted to be a household name in our community. And I think that's what we're doing. And we've done it all through social media and professional networking.
So starting with that, I want to be a household name and I love to take care of people. That's all of the growth from 2018 and on has been behind this is what we want to do. So this is how we're going to get there. Right?
Exactly.
Which definitely makes sense why you're doing all the networking and all this supporting the events that you've been doing. Right? Makes perfect sense. I always like to break down just a little bit. Social media nowadays is crazy. Right? Just saying like, I do social media. That could mean literally a million things.
It's a big
So by social media, are you doing like, you're running paid advertisements, you're engaging with a group that you love to engage with, you're just posting content, roofies, not roofies like the jug, but like roofies, like selfies.
If you've been on our Facebook page, you know what he means.
Right, and if you haven't been, then it's tagged in it.
Most of ours comes from Facebook. That's where we started with the social media aspect of it. We started with Facebook.
And so that's Facebook. Okay, there you go.
Our Pillar to Post the Brough team Facebook page. We post personal content because we want you to know who we are.
Right.
You should know who you're dealing with when you're dealing with one of the biggest purchases of your life. So when you're talking about buying a house and the people that are involved, you want to know the realtor.
Right.
You want to know the lender.
Right.
You want to know the home inspector. You want to know the insurance folks that you're looking at. And you want to know them.
People who do business with people they like. And so by you giving that insight, little pictures or scope of what your personal life looks like, it develops that relationship on a passive level.
So we put a little bit of our personal life on there, and then we do some some funny content on ours, whether it's our roofies. And again, that's not the drug. It's a selfie on the roof. Okay, check out our Facebook page.
Yeah, after the roofies come the flories, right?
Right, then comes the flories and the crawlies and all that good stuff. So we do a little bit of funny content. Again, that's a little more personal, but still a little funny.
Right. Shows your personality.
Yeah, and then we do a lot of helpful, informative type posting on our Facebook page. So things you should look for if your house is on the market and you're getting ready to, or if your house is on the market and you got buyers coming in and somebody's going to put an offer on the house, well, what should you expect from the home inspection? What should you expect from that process? What kind of access does a home inspector need in my house? So I get everything done in one shot and I don't have to come back twice and interrupt your day.
So on your social media, it's just posting, adding value, really. That's a very blanket statement. Adding value. So that's value in building a relationship with you, value in what can you expect in the home inspection process. These are some things you should do wrong. Here's a funny picture of me in a crawl space that I had to crawl through a 2-inch hole. Right?
That happens. More often than I'd like, but it happens. So that it's created a pretty good following so far. So.
Okay.
And we don't do I don't know. I go on some people's Facebook page and they got 5,000 people following their page or whatever, and a lot of that is it's purchased. Some of it's purchased.
I don't want to discredit everybody.
Right. I'm not going to discredit everybody, but we don't do that. We've never done that. We may boost a post here and there to get it in front of more people, but that kind of thing. We don't pay for advertising on our Facebook page.
Okay. So
it's organic.
You grew with networking and that type of social media, and it's worked well for you.
Very well.
Are you going to, once again, you don't have to tell me your secrets, continue doing those same strategies to sustain growth? Or is there something you're going to change to double in 2020?
We are going to keep on the path that we're on with social media, and we're adding a few more elements right now.
Okay.
So there should be some newer content, some different things that you haven't seen on our Facebook page here over the next 2 to 3 weeks, I would say.
Okay. So you're not going to tell us your secrets, but watch his Facebook page, and he's going to show you his secrets, right?
Page.
You got to figure it out yourself.
That's right. Do your thing. Do your thing.
Okay. So how deep are we? I feel like we're pretty deep into this live stream here.
Right on.
I always like to end with, really, it's 3 things. One, was there anything in your story that you wanted to talk about that we skipped over? And is a kind of a blanket statement, but anything like when you were coming to the interview, you were like, man, I definitely want to touch on this, and we just didn't touch on it.
I don't think there's anything that I really wanted to hit that we didn't hit. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, I always like to give you the platform to give you a few minutes, 1, 2, 3 minutes, to tell people where to contact you and to tell them about your business, right? So if you want to grab your home inspection report and kind of show them what you're doing or what kind of, all the details, give them a few minutes spiel on. It's your time to market on the video. That's it. Done.
No. So that there for folks who have used us before for home inspection, this is the binder. It's a fantastic binder for first-time home buyers. It's a great binder for everybody, but for first-time home buyers, there's a lot of useful information in there about the maintenance of your home and the upkeep of your home and the things that you should be taking care of in the spring and in the fall to prepare for the seasons that are coming up.
Yep.
Things you should be looking at with your roof, your furnace, and a lot of that is it's cost-saving stuff. So the better you maintain your furnace, the less the chance of your furnace breaking down in the middle of winter, which is going to cost you a fortune.
Makes sense.
Rather than just having your furnace serviced every year during this time of year when you're not needing your furnace.
Like changing the oil in your car.
Right. I mean,
general maintenance.
I go into a lot of houses that are 3 to 5 years old, and the furnace hasn't been inspected since it was new. And the owner says, well, it's a brand new house. It's not a brand new house. It's 5 years old.
Yeah.
Did you wait 50,000 miles before you change the oil in your brand new car? Or did you change it at 5,000 miles like you should?
Right.
So it's the same thing. So the more you take care of that stuff regularly, the less the chance of you having an emergency cost in the wintertime.
And so you have all the reminders in this here binder.
There's a bunch of reminders in this binder. The way we write up our report has those reminders in those sections. Same thing with your roof. You should take a look at your roof in the spring and the fall, especially here in the valley. We get so much wind. Check it out in the spring and make sure there's no missing shingles. Check it out in the fall, make sure there's no missing shingles before winter gets here and snow falls on it. Right. And then you have a real problem.
So if they want this binder, they have to do a home inspection with you.
Yes.
But if they just want to ask you questions, where do the people contact you?
They can either message me through the Facebook page.
Either one, because you're both of them are on there. Jamie Brough or Pillar to Post?
Right. I prefer the Pillar to Post one.
Okay.
If it's a home inspection related question, I prefer it be there.
Okay.
You can go through my email, which is... What is my email? I don't email myself. jamie.brough@pillartopost.com. I don't email myself, so I forget sometimes. You can go to our website, which is pillartopost.com/Jamie Brough. If you go to the regular, just pillartopost.com and put Wasilla zip code in, it'll bring my website up that way.
Okay.
If you put an Anchorage zip code in, it's going to bring up the other gentleman who has a franchise in Anchorage.
Perfect. So your phone number, email, and website, what we'll do if you'll comment on it, it'll be in the comments to anybody that wants to see it.
Yes.
They can find it there.
Right on. 907-521-7776.
7776.
7776.
That's a good number, that.
Easy number.
So final thing, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Shoot.
Like I do to everyone. I've been averaging between Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, podcast, LinkedIn. You can find, this is going to be on all of those platforms.
Okay.
When you add them up, we get somewhere in the ballpark of 1,500 people see the video.
Wow, cool.
So if you imagine putting those 1,500 people into one room, and you could ask them one question, what would that question be?
It could be. It doesn't have to be about business. It could be anything.
It could be, what's your favorite color? Whatever you like.
1,500 people.
Right.
Can I make it towards my business?
Absolutely. Like a good business owner.
My question would be, think about the last home inspection you had when you were buying a house, and what was the worst part of it? Send me that.
Okay.
I want to know that information.
So now what will hopefully happen, which you're not going to get 1,500 responses, but hopefully you'll get some insight, is go to Pillar to Post Jamie Brough team, or the Brough team.
Yep.
Comment on the Facebook page or send them a message. Think about your last home inspection. What was the worst part? All they have to do is send you the answer and you'll understand.
Just send me the answer. I'll understand.
There it is.
Right on.
That's it, man.
Cool.
Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now I need you to actually work in the video
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
hit the finish button without turning the screen. Oh, God.